We're all set.
Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for August 25th, 2025 will come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Secretary, will call the roll.
Nick Nosovich.
Here.
Dan Rohaley.
Present.
Jeremy Taylor.
Present.
John Marshall.
Here.
Dick Sauerman.
We have enough for business for the petitioners out there. If you would like to hold off till we have a full forum, you have that opportunity to choose so. You can state that when we call your petition up. Otherwise, the four of us can decide on matters. So with that said, go to the approval of the minutes. Minutes have been circulated. Are there any corrections or additions? Motion to approve. A motion by Mr. Marshall for approval. I'll second it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, for call the roll.
Dan Rohaley.
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor.
Yes.
John Marshall.
Yes.
Nick Nosovich.
Yes. Old business, petition 25-31, Michael Cruz, petitioner / Canvas Crown Point owner LLC. Request is a variance from development standards. Purpose is allow signage to exceed 16 square feet. Location is 12701 Carolina Street. Is there someone here to speak to this petition?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
recommend that this item be removed from the agenda. This is the second meeting in a row they haven't showed.
Absolutely.
Is the sign up on, is the sign still up?
The framework for the sign is still up.
Put the sign down.
They never actually got they never got that far. We caught them when they started doing the framework.
I'll make a motion to remove it from the agenda and not refund that money and to have the staff send them a letter to get the framework torn down.
We do have ordinance for signage that's no longer useful.
I'll say.
A motion by Mr. Marshall to remove off the agenda. Second by Mr. Rohaley. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, call the roll.
Dan Rohaley.
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor.
Yes.
John Marshall.
Yes.
Nick Nosovich.
Yes. New business. Under new business, first is petition 25-30, David Hamstra, petitioner / owner. The request is a variance from development standards. Purpose is to allow encroachment of a rear yard setback. Location is 1637 Edith Way. There's someone to speak to this petition? You'll state your name and address for the record.
Yep.
Phil, tell us what you'd like to do.
Sure. David Hamstra, address 1637 Edith Way. So we've been in this house for almost 12 years. And I pastor church here in town, and we love the city. And as in my role as a pastor, we show a lot of hospitality in our home to other families in the congregation in Crown Point. I've been blessed with 4 families, and that has led to just practicalities of difficulty of fitting in a dining room with just even 2 families there. And so our intention and desire is just to have a space that works for us to show hospitality, to break bread together. And we have a pretty unique setup that I'll have Ted Rohn, who is the architect on the job for me. With our layout, with our house and just the situation, it's a bit unique. But the desire here is just to extend over our patio and extend our dining area so that we could better host, show hospitality, and continue to do what we love to do here in Crown Point. So Ted, I don't know if there's anything you want to add, just the actual setup there.
Ted Rohn, Rohn Associates Architects, 13177 Road Street, Cedar Lake. So when David David's my pastor, by the way. I attend Cross Point as well. And when he came to me and said he wanted to take basically where his rear deck is and put a one-story addition, I said, all right, well, send me the survey. I gotta look at the survey first. And then I sent it to Josh and I'm like, this is the most unique site. I've done a lot of projects. It's basically all street. And so when I talked to Josh, I said, okay, you essentially have all front yard. And then where he wants to build his addition is basically a side yard for all of the other houses. But Josh came to the conclusion, I was hoping not, that, it's considered a rear yard. So we said, hey, we got to get a variance. And so it's a really unique shaped lot. You can see it's got roads, it's all front yard and then one rear yard. So he's not encroaching any further to the property line than when the deck is there now. He's got a green screen already there. There might have been some photos. His neighbor, who would be mostly impact, is in full favor and I believe wrote a letter. And so because of the unique situation, we're asking that you approve a variance to enclose his basically his deck that's there now, so he has more living space for hospitality.
Very good. So Ty, we'll see if we have any questions. Mr. Watson, staff report.
Yes, sir. Petitioner is requesting a variance from development standards to allow a 14-foot encroachment of rear yard setback in an R2 residential zone at his home located at 1637 Edith Way. Current setback requirements in the R2 residential zone are front yard setback of 30 feet, rear yard setback of 20 feet, side yard setback with minimum of 5 feet on one side, 10 foot on the other side. The residential structure does not have an attached garage. If approved, the petitioner plans to construct a one-story building addition to the south side of his home. No calls of remonstration have been received by the planning department. However, the homeowner of 1627 Edith Way has reached out in support of the proposal, stating, quote, "We believe the project will be a tasteful improvement to the property and will have no negative impact on our property or the surrounding neighborhood," unquote. All notices have been properly sent out by certified mail, and the notice has been published in the newspaper. Planning Department recommends approval of petition 2530. I'd also like to add, in the time since we've written the staff report and passed out packets, we've received probably another close to half dozen calls in support of the project. So far, nobody in that neighborhood has anything bad to say about the project or about the homeowner in general.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, any questions for the petitioner?
Josh, is that, just out of curiosity, is that house at 1627 a 5 yard or 5 foot or a 10 foot?
I'd have to look at that property as a whole because it's 10 foot on one side, 5 foot on the other. It's indiscriminate on which is going to be which. It's just all depending on the structures there. But even then, that wouldn't necessarily.
Yeah, I was just curious. That was the only
Mr. Marshall?
I guess I just have a clarification question of the petitioner. When you say you're blessed with 4 families, are they living with you or
4 kids.
4 kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
I misunderstood.
Yeah. Monogamy, 1 wife, 4 kids. That's it. Yep.
All right, that was my only question.
Mr. O'Haley?
So the addition's gonna be how big?
12 foot by 6 foot.
12 by 6.
Yep, same size as the decks that's there.
Feet, that is the backyard, 20 feet, is that what it is, Joe?
Yes. So essentially, this would be leaving a setback of about 6 foot.
This is a public meeting. If there's anyone out there who'd like to speak to this petition, be an opportunity to come forward or online.
Nothing on mine.
Second opportunity to be heard. Third opportunity. One more check on one.
Nothing.
With that, then we'll close the public portion out and bring it back to the board. Any additional questions or motion?
25-30. 25-30.
A motion for approval by Mr. Marshall with all staff comments. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Taylor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, for call roll.
Dan Rohaley,
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
John Marshall, Nick Nosovich.
Yes. Good luck, move forward,
Thank you.
enjoy Crown Point and have the most people out and
We
make
will.
things good.
We will. We love our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Josh.
Next on the agenda is petition 25-32, Legacy Sign Group petitioner / Powers Health owner. Request is a variance from development standards. Purpose is to allow on-building signage to exceed 100 square feet. Location is 10201 Broadway. Please state your name and address for
Sure.
the record and tell us what you'd like to do.
My name is Sean O'Brien. I'm with Legacy Sign Group, 7933 West Highway 6 in Westville, Indiana. I'm here to present some signage variants for Powers Health. They are in combination with the Northwest Cancer Centers in a new construction project on Broadway. We did have, I just got notified there was an address was changed in the process of this. We had the address down as 10201, but it has been changed to 10191. Just a clarification of that, Broadway and Crown Point. This is a property that is just north of Powers' other facility there, the Heart and Stroke Center. This is a fairly large building, 71,000 combined square feet, 4 stories, or 3 stories, sorry, 3 stories. And we're looking to get a variance for some of the building signage there. Obviously with a cancer center, mainly elderly and people that are under emotional distress are trying to find this building. So essentially, we're asking for a variance for the size of the signage. This building is located approximately 300 feet off of the road. So we are just advertising the Powers Health and the Northwest Cancer Centers on the building. This is facing towards the west. And in the main entrance area, we also have a cancer care center wording that's approximately almost 18 inches tall to designate where the door is located. I think the variant or the code allows for 100 total square feet for all the signage there. And we are asking for 223 square feet total for these 3 signs. I think that based on the height of the building, the distance we're away from the road, the consideration of who's coming here, that this is an adequate sign size to be clearly read from Broadway so that people can navigate their way in there. I don't think it's going to be overly flashy or overly large in any way. I think it's just a minimal what's going to be accepted to be able to be legible from people coming and going to this facility. Is there any other questions you may have on this
I may
signage?
have questions, just want to give you opportunity to state what you want at this time, so.
Yep.
Mr. Watson, staff report?
Petitioner is requesting a variance from development standards to allow on-building signage to exceed 100 square feet allowed by ordinance in areas of B3 business zoning. The total proposed square footage of the signage is 223.9 square feet. One sign reading Powers Health will be a total of 99 square feet and will face Broadway. One side reading Northwest Cancer Centers will be a total of 97 square feet and will face Broadway. One side reading Cancer Care Center will be a total of 27.9 square feet and will face Community Court. If approved, the square footage would be 123.9 square feet past ordinance. Parcel is bordered by Broadway to the west, Community Court to the south, and B3 business zoning to the north and east. No calls of support or remonstration have been received by the planning department, and all notices have been properly sent out by certified mail. The notice was published in the newspaper.
Mr. O'Haley, questions to the petition?
Really only missing by 100. Signage along Broadway. Directional signage there to get you into the development.
Oh, yes, sir, that's our next variance for the monument sign. Since we have two separate variances. One is for the monument size and then the other would be for the building signage. And we cover both at the same time if you like.
Well, we're on the wall signage. Cancer Care Center, don't you think you'd like to tell them that that's the entrance of Cancer Care Center? Maybe you want this, elongated, protracted, pull at the heartstrings, somebody can find it. Might be nice to put entrance on, but door going.
Well,
Instead of having all that signage at the top of the building, I think they kind of know where the building is.
being that it is illuminated, so at night, it illuminates and kind of gives someone direction. I would, with the letters being the Cancer Care Center with the door directly underneath, I mean, maybe it's just assumed, but assuming that people would understand that that's where they would enter the facility. Plus, that is in the roundabout as well, that there's a big roundabout there that is a drop-off area. And it's going to be very clear of where the entrance is at, just based on the architecture of the building.
With an entrance canopy at the entrance of the. I mean, if you're looking for, entrance to be displayed like below the Cancer Care Center, we could provide that. We could put that there, like
But
main
you're already
entrance.
over.
What's that?
You're already over. Square.
Right, understood.
Do you need Howard's Health logo on there and the Northwest Cancer Centers? Both of those.
Yes, because it's really two separate entities in the building. Powers Health is providing the outpatient services on the first floor. And then Northwest Cancer Care is providing the infusion services and exam rooms on the second floor.
There's a lot of signage.
Well, if you look at the building to the south for the Heart and Stroke, they're well over 300 square feet total on that building, and it doesn't look out of proportion to the size of the building. And I think you're dealing with the same thing here with a large building high up on the building. It's going to look rather small when you're looking at it on a print next to you, and you're saying, okay, 100 square feet, and it seems like a lot, but when it's on a big building like that, it definitely diminishes quickly.
Mr. Marshall?
Well, as Mr. O'Haley always says, get it at site development. Did you guys start this or did you buy it when it was getting built? Ours.
No, we own the property from the beginning, and it's a joint venture project with Northwest Cancer Centers. And so we've been involved from the beginning, and it's, really two entities in the building. And so with the distance being off of Broadway, you would like both names to be, visible, since people are coming to two different, entities or organizations. Powers Health being on the first floor and Northwest Cancer Center on the second floor.
So when you brought it to Plan Commission for site review, why didn't you put the signs up the building?
I believe some signage was shown on the building.
That was different signage as well. That's back when it was still, I believe, Community. What's the name of it at the time?
There was, the name of the building was Northwest Community Cancer Center, which would have been a much longer name, and longer signage on the building.
Well, the Powers Health and Community have rebranded since that time.
That's why I asked you.
Powers Health really
What
is.
we're trying to get the petitioners to do, I think, I know Mr. Franklin said, we talk about this all the time, of one aside, bring it in outside. Original sign that was bigger got approved, now we're changing.
Well, community healthcare system rebranded in that time frame of when it was originally, because I probably drew those drawings way back a year or two ago. Since then, community hospital or community healthcare system is rebranded to Powers Health.
I don't know, it's only hard to find the first time. After that, you gotta know where to go. So, I understand. Big sign for a big building and you're trying to, pull your marketing together, but I just hesitate on the sign just because you should have already planned for a sign. Built that big of a building, 3-story building, should have been plans.
Points will be. So on site development, we approved that. And just on the site. That's what we approved. That's the question.
Well, you always do.
No, I asked, what is your sign package? What are you doing now? I said, yeah, whatever's on the building. Look at that a little closer.
You brought this up for a number of years and
Well, it's just when there wasn't any signage at all, I'd always bring it up, say, what do you know for sign? Oh, we had to approve.
and I know you asked about the monument side of the site development. That's because you always do. You do every time.
Yep.
Is there a monument side? I'm jumping petitions. But it's a monument side you want to make bigger that you have it, but you want to make it bigger or you're asking for a monument sign?
There was always planned to have a monument sign. The monument sign that's being planned is what it was originally planned to have.
So it was
What-
in the original plan?
I believe it has. I don't know. I can't remember, to be honest with you, what was originally on the drawings or if there was really a detail on the drawings for it.
I don't believe there was, because if there was a detail that would have been over what was allowed, it would have gotten a variance before going to site development.
Well, that's right. That's what I said for the building. Larger.
Now you're saying that you get a variance before the site plan was, I've never
Correct.
experienced that before, that you get a variance for
Well,
sign
we do it
before.
here at Crown Point, if they have something coming in that's gonna be bigger than allowed at plan commission, and staff determines they need a variance, and it comes to the BZA, it can come to the BZA first, and then get the variance, and then when it goes to plan commission, it says in our packet that this is over the building line, or whatever this particular variance is, and it says, but it's been approved by, May 25th plan commission.
Yeah, I even,
Me and Mr. Riley are on the plan commission also, so we have a little bit more insight to how the whole process works, because we're both on the plan commission also.
right.
But, or it gets approved, and it's at plan commission, and it's contingent on the BZA approval.
Sign, flip the strokes.
Oh, I think that's like 12 foot wide by,
Here, I've got it.
Square feet.
Well, it depends on how you calculate the square footage here. Technically, on the monument sign we're here for a variance for, it only has 42 square feet of signage. But I think we're over the square footage because they calculate the entire structure.
I
Where
believe that's how.
most places don't do it that way. Most people just do the signage.
See what the square footage is,
Which one is this?
This is a very similar size.
where the strokes are. parts
I
of
mean,
the
it's-
hospital just to the south.
13 plus 14, 15 foot by 13.8. So for so roughly 200 square feet.
That'd be 210.
Right, when the community come in with the first house building, we didn't have a big thing on the sign, we approved it at site.
Right, community came in for that building to the south. That was
For-
roughly 3 years before I was working for the city. So
I'm-
I'm not allowed to attest to what was done then.
No,
For
we
the-
came
for
in
the-
at-
For the
we-
stroke and rehab,
Yeah.
we had to come in separate for that,
For the south.
for the sign. The
Yeah,
sign,
just
it
like
was
this.
told that, from my understanding at Plan Commission, that the sign package was gonna be dealt with separate. So we had to come back and that's when we had to discuss, what the materials on the sign was. We, I think, weren't even planning to put brick or stone on it. And so then we were, asked to match the,
Yes.
exterior finishes of the building, and so we added that to the sign as requested.
You are correct. Now that you say,
I mean, one thing to consider is if you look at the exterior of the building, I mean, the wall signage on the exterior of the building is not all that large in comparison to, the outside square footage. So,
that's different.
What's just a little snippet of where I don't know if that's this side.
yeah,
The placement got moved, but
yeah, right, the placement did get moved. But yeah, that's just a short little snippet of it. That's not the entire building. The entire building is, quite a bit of frontage along Broadway. So having two signs really didn't seem like it was, taking up that much and trying to be, the prominent feature of the building. The building itself is going to dwarf the signs. The signs are just gonna be a name tag on it.
What is the monument sign?
That would be this one here.
I think it-
I mean, you can have my copy, it's just one.
I think it's the same thing as the side pillar.
Yeah, and that is what we're trying to do, is the brick at the bottom and the two pillars on sides with the two signs in the middle. It does,
Somebody showed.
you come up to it, the community sign.
Similar to, yeah, to that.
pillars on this one.
Yeah, you've got
Kind of the silver dandy.
Well, the silver bending on the top is the old on the wings. Guys see this or?
Personally, I think the sign's well sized for your building. I guess I'm just trying to, we've been working on trying to get consistent here. Rules and regulations, process.
We take no offense to the process. We understand it's not all cut and dried, so.
I mean, I think your signage on the building is small when compared to the whole massive size of the building. And monument sign works, it's just, you guys tell us, you almost had me sobbing here with, most charged people trying to find the building. I mean, it's only hard to find first. Once you get there, 97% of people can find this. And I understand marketing, so I get it. I know why you won't put a sign on the building. Mr. Taylor. Your question.
So the Northwest Cancer Centers are moving from their current location, that's just on the side of Strax.
Yes, correct.
What kind of signage do they have there?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I'd have to,
That's my, that was my other point. Not a lot of signage.
But if you just go east a little bit and look at the size of the signs for University of Chicago, got huge signs over there, you know?
At University of Chicago, we had this discussion when Lake Shore Bowling and Joint, the only reason they got that approval was because of I-65. And then we turned down Lake Shore Bowling and Joint. Correct.
That was their hard.
Yep.
it is a new location for the Northwest Cancer Centers, and you know, that's not every day that somebody gets diagnosed with cancer and has to go in for treatment. So it might be something that they could find first time, but you know, it's not very often in life you got to go find a cancer center to take care of that.
Josh, what's the size? I know we're like mixing up these two positions.
Which, I mean, it's the same project. We can't talk about them together. We've done that in the past as well.
I have less issues. I don't fully, I mean, I have less issues with the building signage than the monument sign. Like, it's a 15-foot tall monument sign. How tall is the one next to it?
15 feet.
15 feet. So how tall is Bethel across the street?
Bethel didn't even get a variance, so I just don't know offhand. They have to touch base. with the
It's
building
gotta be
department.
pretty close, if not taller.
So the monument sign in question today, if it was 24 feet smaller in square footage, it would need a variance.
Twenty-four feet smaller.
Yeah, 24 square foot smaller than what.
Which, I mean, if you wanted to,
Are there?
I mean, there's 60. I mean, there's like 60 some square feet of just brick pillars on the side, you know, if you get technical. I mean, there's a lot of brick on there.
Are there multiple entrances? Like, is there a separate entrance to Powers Health as there is to Northwest Cancer Center? Or is that all one entrance?
It is all one entrance, yes.
So how come you guys decided to put Cancer Care Center on that one entrance and not Powers Health on that one? Like, why can't, like, if we just eliminated that completely, it's very obvious that that's the entrance. Would we be within?
So the Stroke and Rehab Center is being renamed the Powers Health Rehabilitation Center, and it'll have the Powers Health, you know, signage and logo as you really see it here. And so to distinguish the two different buildings, we wanted to have the name at the main entrance as a Cancer Care Center, so that people would understand this is the Cancer Care Building, this is the Rehabilitation Center, which houses a lot of other, you know, outpatient services and doctors and everything else. So that's really the intention of having the Cancer Care Center, is so that people would understand this is the Cancer Care Building, this is, you know, cancer care type of services. The Rehabilitation Center is something different.
But it's the same entrance?
No,
Two separate buildings. The building to the south.
the
Is a
Powers
rehabilitation.
Health Rehabilitation Center is a separate building.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the south side of Community Corridor 102nd Avenue.
Seems like you could probably get rid of the Powers Health, or, you know what I mean, or the Cancer Care Center, and then be within. Yeah.
Well, not technically. You have one sign you can have. The Powers Health is 100 square feet on its own, and that's what you're allowed.
So we're at,
Hang on, wait, were you talking about the monument sign or the?
no, I'm not the monument sign.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Right? Just the building.
Just
right?
the building.
So we had to be at 200.
No, 100.
100
Yeah,
square
this is
feet,
double
we're at
what ordinance
225
allows.
or something
Yeah.
like that. So each one of those is 100 square foot, you're saying? I don't know.
Just input into the conversation, and I agree with my colleagues, and I mean, quite honestly, anybody who lives in this area already knows what that building is, even though it's not completed for the most part. And in time, if I was looking for that service, I would pay much attention to whatever size the sign is to let me know where I'm going, if indeed I need one of those services. I don't know if we need the size or the magnitude to try to bring people in. If I'm looking for that because I need to go there, I can see identifying that these two entities are here. But we're making it big, so it's seen from the road or whatever, like come on in attraction. And I don't know if that's what should be the intent here. So,
Well, I mean,
Identifying
that's
the
always
best-
the intent of signs is to be read from the street. I mean, otherwise, there's no point in having a sign, you know, and the point, and what the important part is, you can have two Powers Health buildings right next to each other. If you limit the size of the one on this building and not the other building, then it's gonna be confusing that someone's gonna be like, oh, I gotta go to Powers Health and go to the wrong buildings. So you have to have a legible from both buildings that people understand there is two Powers Health buildings here in the same vicinity. I mean, the addresses are gonna be extremely close. You know,
I understand, and in all fairness too, as was mentioned earlier, in the plan stages, if those things are identified, they could clearly be worked out at that point. Now we've got the structure up, and now we need to put this size in because, so it's kind of like you're kind of pushing, forcing kind of get this size because that's what we need, when maybe that conversation should have been more entertained at the plan commission.
could have been, I'm not a part of that. I don't get brought
So
into,
I'm just sharing
right.
the balancing act that we're all trying to come up with here. It's not a matter of not wanting to have a sign for you. It's a matter of, but whatever we do, then transpires down the road, because it'll be, well, you let so-and-so do this, why can't I do that? So we have to be careful on how we handle things. So I don't believe anybody here is opposed to signage. It's just trying to figure out what's the best route for the overall.
Right, I understand.
Including,
Right,
So-
and there is a lot of signage along Broadway there that, you know, very comparable sizes and larger, you know, throughout.
and if we don't stop it somewhere, it's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger, and that's a problem too, so. So. I guess kind of like you said, this is the first one that we're hashing out here and trying to figure out what's the right ways to do things, so.
Could I make two comments?
Sure.
To your point of, you know, too much signage, we find with our patients throughout facilities, and I think you could even talk to road construction guys, that not everybody looks at signage. I don't think everybody, you know, is really looking for signage in all different places. So having signage in multiple areas helps to direct people, you know, to where they're going so they can catch it in multiple places. There's so many times you got a road closed and somebody barrels right down the road and doesn't even pay attention to the signs that are there. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm just trying to make the point that people nowadays, to me, doesn't look at signage, and the more we can try to put it out there to help direct people, we're trying to assist them. As far as those, sorry, I had another comment. I forget what it was. Oh, I'm sorry. To the point of, you know, discussing this back at Plan Commission, I believe some signage was shown on the building. But this project, I think we first submitted it back in 2022 or 2023. And things have transpired since then with the ownership and discussion, and things have just, you know, migrated or morphed into this direction. And so this is the desire now of the ownership group of how they would like to have the signage on the building. So it's, I guess my point is, it's kind of hard initially when the building's being put up to just really determine what the signage is going to be, knowing down the road, people's desires and names might change. And just because we have the building, we're trying to, fit the signage on the building. We don't think it's out of proportion for the size and the distance from Broadway. And so we thought it looked tasteful to us and we thought it would be, possibly acceptable by the group here. So just my thoughts and opinions to share.
Well, let's continue through the process. This is a public meeting. If there's anyone here or online that would like to comment to this petition, you have to come forward.
Here's something.
Second opportunity. Third and final. We'll close the public portion out. Bring it back to the board for any further discussion or questions. Or motion.
Just out of curiosity, in your experience in the sign business, how, like, is there like a kind of, I guess, other ordinances out there that, a certain amount, like, or the ownership of buildings, like a certain amount of square footage, that's who gets the name on the building versus having, if you have 15 tenants, you have 15 names on the building? Like, what is the common practice in your world?
Generally, if you have multi-tenants, then each tenant's allowed a certain amount of square footage. Now, they don't really designate on a monument sign who gets more, who gets less. It's just
What about, like,
common size. I mean, generally, like, there would be, okay, every tenant can have 100 square feet, or every tenant could have 32 square feet. Sometimes it's based on the amount of frontage that they have along the street. Like for instance, if you have a row of a strip mall, their square footage is calculated by the amount of linear frontage that they have on their frontage. So if it's 2 times that, and they have a 20-foot wide building, they have 40 square feet that they're allowed.
And I'm thinking more of like these large buildings that we're starting to see more and more of, right? Like you put up a 6-story office building in Crown Point, and are you gonna have 30 names going on there? You know what I mean? And like, and that's all
So, just to give you an idea, we do have that in Crown Point. Every zone has its differences. So in a B3 zone, we allow 100 square foot maximum area, but for more than 1 tenant in a commercial strip mall, plaza, or center, 3 square feet per linear foot of each individual business frontage, not to exceed 100 square foot per business. So where things can get a little muddied is where we have a situation like this. We had a building with a user come through site development. And now that it's gone through that process, now it's multiple users. So
technically, if this building was brought to planning commission differently, or was zoned differently, then we would be allowed 100 square feet per.
it's not that it would have been zoned differently, but the intended use and the users would have been known up front, as opposed to, oh, this is just going to be a cancer treatment facility. And then when signage comes in, well, it's cancer treatment, but we also need Powers Health signage. We also need this, like that's where things get muddy. So that's why we tend to ask for a full sign package, which I'm sure was submitted, but as you guys stated, since submittal, things changed. It got bought out, it's different partners. So the site package that was approved is now completely different, which I hate to really kind of get off track, but you mentioned the building to the south is going to be rebranded.
Yeah.
Are they also going to be seeking variances as well?
No, I think they're staying within the current signage square footage.
So we would have approved that, or like we're approving these signs, right?
Right. So I guess actually, Joe, can you still hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so my question to you is, if a building gets variance approval for signage, and then they are changing that signage after they receive variance approval, do they need a new variance for the new signage?
Size, if it changes sizes to a larger size?
So let's say they got a variance approving 300 square feet.
Correct.
Now, I know we approve particular signage, and then we'll say 300 square feet. If they change that signage, do they need a new variance if it does not exceed the previous size?
No,
Okay.
my opinion, no.
The other matter here that I have a little struggle with, and I think there'll be some agreement, is every time someone comes in front of here, it's to ask for forgiveness or present a hardship as to why they want to do something which the ordinances or the laws don't allow them to do. And the hardship here is kind of vague. It's, well, we like, it looks a little bigger or better, we want both names on there. I mean, part of our process is to figure out what that hardship is and look over this criteria as we make a decision on something. And I don't really hear or see the hardship.
Well,
Oh, we just step up to the podium. Sorry.
I guess I'm a little confused because what he just stated. And maybe you can explain it better, but you're saying that if you have a multi-tenant building, I don't know what classifies this not being a multi-tenant building, but you are allowed 100 square feet per tenant. And that's what we're asking for, is 100 square
Yeah,
feet
it was
per
a
tenant.
Strip mall, commercial buildings, things like that. This was
So,
proposed
but
to the
this is
city.
still, it's,
It was proposed to the city as a single tenant. So
but what is it? You can't change that? What's the, how do you go and change from a single tenant to a multi-tenant?
The site plan was approved as a single user. And that's probably why we looked at the sign that was on that site development plans, and yeah, it's within the norm. Now that's changed. Now you say there's 2 users in, which command more signage square feet.
Well, but if it was originally proposed as a multi-tenant, same size building, then we wouldn't even be here right now because we would be within the rule, we would be within the code.
No, you're still
Well, minus the cancer care center. Letters. We're not over because we're allowed 100 square feet per tenant, max.
but your question is, if it went to plan commission as a single tenant and then later on became a multi-tenant, it would have to come back to plan commission for the approval to be used as a multi-tenant. So we have buildings come in that they say, well, this is gonna be a 3-unit building, and then suddenly they decide to slap a wall up and add an additional address. It needs to come back to site development. They are deviating from what was originally approved. It's no longer approved. So now it's coming back to the plan commission to ask for approval to become a multi-tenant building.
But you see where I'm going here, that we're within the size limitations. If you're considering just the 2 tenants that are in that building, we are within code. Now, I understand that there's a little gray area of single use, multi-use, blah, blah, blah.
quite frankly, I don't know what the big issue is. People fly down Broadway at 100 miles an hour anyway. They're not looking at signs. All they're looking for is the arrow to go into the cancer center. It's not up on top of a building. It's down where they are in the car. Not up on the building. Building signage is just a marketing thing.
I think we've talked ourselves into approving the sign. I mean, if I spent, you spent a couple $100 million putting that building up, right?
Yeah, it was about 35, 36 million.
I put my name on it. I'll be honest with you. So,
Yeah, within the guideline.
yeah, but I think it's a vertical multi-tenant unit now. I don't know. I think we've talked ourselves into this. Hate to say that. I understand their position, so.
Is there any, well, talking about both of these, is there any way we can reduce the size by 24 square feet of the monument size to get it within our?
On the monument sign?
Yeah. That's what that is, right? 24 square feet. Is there any way
We
we
can
can reduce
reduce
the
brick.
size by 24 square feet to get it within the code and you won't need our variance?
I mean, I would hate to take the signage down any, because really the signage portion is minimal. I'm talking 42 square feet for the signage and the rest of it is brick. So if you want us to cut some of the brick off, I mean, that was kind of your guys' requirement of the look of how these are.
We can't cut 20 square feet from each of those signs. I mean, that's, I'm just asking the question.
From the monument or?
For the monument sign, right? That would get it within the ordinance?
I mean, if we were to reduce,
I mean, you go
The
from
monument.
24 square or 24-inch wide to 18-inch wide. I mean, that would be 24 square feet, it'd be over, it'd be 30 square feet. So somewhere in between there, you're just narrowing down the columns a little bit. And that's the matter what we're talking about, 6 inches of brick.
And we would have never seen this, right? If that would have been the case.
Correct.
I just don't see what the hardship is.
Okay. All I have.
Well, I'm prepared to make. Might not be a popular motion. I think that between the staff, us and them, I think we've proven our case for the sign on the buildings. Make a motion to approve 2532.
Motion by Mr. Marshall for approval of petition 25-32. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Taylor. Further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Dan Rohaley,
No,
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
John Marshall,
Yes.
Nick Nosovich.
No.
All right, this gets moved to the next meeting, guys.
So we'll have to move it to the next meeting when we have a full forum to make that decision. So we want to the monument sign. Is there something you want to add to the monument sign presentation that we kind of jumped into anyway?
No, I think it's been discussed thoroughly.
Fair enough, just want to make sure. Want to read the staff report?
Petitioner is requesting a variance from development standards to allow monument signage to exceed 150 square foot allowed by ordinance in areas of B3 business zoning. Approved, the petitioner plans to construct a 174 square foot monument sign along Broadway, displaying the logos of both Powers Health and Northwest Cancer Centers at their newest location at, let me see, it was, I apologize, 10191 Broadway. If approved, the sign would be 24 square feet over ordinance. With the exception of the total square footage, the renderings for the proposed monument sign are consistent with the requirements of both the zoning code and the Broadway design guidelines. Parcel is bordered by Broadway to the west, Community Court to the south, and B3 business zoning to the north and east. No calls of remonstration or support have been received by the planning department, and all notices have been properly sent out by certified mail. The notice has been published in the newspaper.
Josh, just out of curiosity, with these address, so the first address is listed on the agenda is not correct. The second address on the on 2533 is 12-701.
Yeah, that was a mistake on the agenda. Everything was fine on the legal notice.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I was
But
asking.
that's, yeah, we caught that early this morning.
Mr. Taylor, questions? If you
I don't have any additional questions.
Mr. Marshall?
Yeah, I have a, I find making the two, you're gonna make it like the other community health center, right? Is that the
Correct.
plan?
Yes.
Identical structure, or identical, they're gonna be twins?
No, they're not twins at all. They're a little bit different. I mean, they have the same basic idea, but in the sign at the other community, it has a message center on it. And it's much more signage than what we're looking at on this other one. The other one just happens to be a lot more architectural brick and brick on it than the ordinance allows, essentially. But
I didn't get those to the side. I guess my,
did you want to see them both compared?
Yeah.
and so this side's gonna be the same width as the other side, it's the
Yeah.
same width as this side?
Basically, well, actually, this one's a little wider. 13.8 overall, and this one's 12 foot overall.
I guess I thought they were twin sides, I didn't want you to shorten up the brick up. I don't know, I've come to learn to understand that the whole sign is the square footage, not just, I always thought just the sign was. I don't know that, I mean, the sign's at 42 square foot, right, on this sign.
Yeah. I mean, 90% of communities, that's how they do it.
Well, I want the sign to be presentable out there and to, you know, give you a nice front, so I don't know that I'm agreeing on cutting down 42 square foot out of the brick. And this is my, I don't know that it's worth the stretch. Setup.
The one in the south large.
One on the south is larger, yes. That's what I was trying to get compared to the side, so. We're gonna approve the bigger side. Oh, my goodness. Hopefully you tell all your friends and neighbors to put this sign package in the site survey. Site plan, please.
We'll be asking a lot more questions with site development outside.
But my personal opinion is, I mean, you need a monument sign that's in front of a big building that big. Every sign, every business on probably has one. I think this is probably more important than the sign on the building. Perfectly honest. I'm not willing to, I guess it's not the correct term, but to cheapen up the sign to say 42 square foot. I think this, you present a nice sign and, you know, I mean, portion wise, it's good. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
And I would have to agree with you. I mean, if you're not reducing the sign, the brick is not that item that's not noticeable. So to shorten it up just to pass it, I see that being beneficial. If we were doing something with the signs, but I also agree that to me, that's more important and that's the more visible than somebody trying to look up in the sky as you're driving down Broadway and looking at that sign. This is at my eye level of where I'm driving, and if I'm looking for you, I'm looking at that and not up on the building. So I would be inclined to agree with Mr. Marshall and not cheapen, taking some bricks away just to say we're in line. So just my comment. Mr. O'Haley?
Yeah. I could- Wish I would have seen that sign. I think you'd seen that sign.
This one?
Yeah. Wasn't in my pic.
Oh, yeah. I
None of
agree.
us.
But I haven't seen it. Bethel across the street must be within the.
Yeah, the only thing Bethel needed was even though they were within the setback, there was still a utilities easement for NIPSCO, so they actually had to get an approval letter from NIPSCO. NIPSCO would allow it to be where it's located.
I don't want to concede to them, but they spent a lot of money to come to Crown Point. I think we gotta give them a sign, show people the work. I have a feeling.
This is a public meeting. If there's anyone in the audience or online wants to speak to this petition, it's an opportunity to come forward. Leaving more online, apparently, we don't have that many here that haven't already spoken about this.
Nothing on mine.
Second opportunity, just to be in line. Third and final. Hearing none, bring it back to the board.
Yeah, what is the merger?
Well, we'll make a motion to approve 2533. I don't know how it's gonna go, but, as presented.
A motion for approval by Mr. Marshall. Is there a second? I will second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, if you call the roll.
Dan Haley,
No.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
John Marshall,
Yes.
Nick Nosovich.
Yes. The sign or the monument sign is approved. Your other petition for the building has to come back next month when our fifth member's here, and we'll revisit that at that time. Anything that you can add to some of the questions we've had, so we'll kind of think about as well. See if we can come up with something. We definitely want to work with you. This isn't a matter of that, it's just trying to, again, do the right things for you and everybody else in the city as they come through. So please understand that. We're trying to find ways, just gotta see if we're gonna find some middle point, if you will, so.
Right.
Thank you very much for your time.
There's a quick question. So say they went back to the planning commission, is that a full public hearing as well, and for the multi-use versus single use?
I mean, it would be a site development hearing, yes.
That's public?
Yeah.
With all notifications and,
No, site development doesn't require public notice.
and they meet same, you meet right after this, or is that? different?
Correct.
So that'd be next month as well.
Correct.
Okay.
With that, we're at miscellaneous, any miscellaneous information or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All in favor?